Sorry. Okay, how are you all?
Your class continues, sir. And link to Bluetooth, YouTube link.
Okay, so yesterday we have reached to the another topic relating to the first chapter, right? What are the things we have done? Qualities of an auditor. So when we talk about the qualities of an auditor, everyone, they are broadly classified into two categories, personal and professional. And when we talk about the personal, what is the first one? Integrity. Second one? Third one? Fourth one? What do you mean by integrity? Honesty, sincerity, straightforward. Okay. We all know about the confidentiality. Means always keep your ears and eyes open, but always keep your mouth. But under two circumstances, we can open it. Either with the prior permission of the client, or there is a question of law. Next point may be understood. We should be good with skills and competence, computer skills, communication skills, logical and tactful mind. And what is this? What do you understand by professional skepticism? Questioning. But do we have to always apply it or only when the need arises? But you should always be alert. Right? Apply it when you think that the information given by the client is a little bit suspicious in nature. Then you will question him. Okay, I want to question the integrity of this particular thing. Right? Then we talked about the which qualities, everyone? Professional. Professional, first quality we understood, holder of COP. Second one, you should be expert into auditing and accounting. You should be advanced in the law and taxation. And you should also have a proficient knowledge in other disciplines. What are the other disciplines? Management, secretary practice. Okay. Acha, ye batao, if I have to ask you one very simple question, please give me the answer. Why do we need to have the knowledge of financial management? What is the reason? देखो क्या रहता है, sometimes client is not always going to hire you for the auditing purposes. Sometimes client hire you for the other services also, right? Say for example, I hired a chartered accountant for cost optimization services. What is the name of the service? So suppose I'm a manufacturing company. Now my cost of production is increasing day by day without any justification. And my profit margin is reducing day by day. Now I know that there is some fault in my production process. Now where I'm incurring more cost, which is reducing my what? Profits. So I want to know that area. So sometimes you are not educated enough to understand that area. At that point of time, who will help you? Costing subject will help you. Are you getting the point? Why do we need the knowledge of financial management? Say for example, I want to check the liquidity of the company. What of the company? Liquidity. अच्छा, liquidity के लिए अपने पास एक formula है, current ratio. That is current assets by. अच्छा, say for example, if my current ratio is 3:1, what does that mean? कि I have 3 rupees of current assets in my pocket to pay the liabilities of. So am I liquidity wise sound or unsound? But if it is 0.3:1, so it means you are nothing but analyzing the company from the different financial aspects. That's why you should have the knowledge of what? Financial management. So can I say that you should have the knowledge of costing also? You should have the knowledge of law, taxation, audit, because we as a chartered accountant, when we put ourselves in the market, either you are doing a job, see, after getting qualified, you will never come to know that which company is going to offer you. Say for example, Vizag Steel Plant offers you a package of 18 lakhs or 20 lakh rupees per annum. Will you say no because you are not interested in costing subject? Or you have to say yes? So at that point of time, which subject will help you? Costing. Suppose you got a job in the SEBI like I did. At that point of time, financial management helped me. SFM, strategic financial management subject helped me, which you are going to do it in CA. Suppose there is one big company who hired you as an accountant. At that point of time, accountings will help you. Suppose you set up your practice, then auditing, tax, law, these subjects will help you. Auditing will help you. Are you getting the point? So that is the reason, even though our profession name is chartered accountant, but we do the multiple subjects. Like in the CA final, what you are going to do is advanced level of all the subjects which you are doing at what? Intermediate level. And auditing ka to I already told you, there are total 35 standards. Out of 35, 26 you are going to do at which level? and remaining are waiting for you in what? CA final. तो CA intermediate का 30 to 40% of the portion equally applicable at your which level? Check. That is why the CA final में auditing subject का name क्या है? The name is Advanced Auditing and Professional Ethics. What is the name? So you are doing the basics auditing at this level, and you are going to do the which level? Advanced level at the later stage when you will reach what? Final. Am I clear, everyone? So this is what you have to understand about this thing. Chalo. So we are done with the personal qualities. We are done with the professional qualities. After that, we talked about what? Objectives of an audit. क्या होता है objectives of an audit? Primary objective, secondary. Acha, what do you mean by primary? My 99.99% of the focus will be on my primary. If the time will be left, then I will shift my focus from primary to secondary. It means if it is my secondary objective, it means it is primary of whom? Management. तो पहले मेरे को secondary objective बताओ. Internal control. अच्छा ये बताओ, कोई भी कंपनी होती है उसमें जो स्टाफ होता है, whether that staff should be competent or should be non-competent, qualified or non-qualified, that is whose responsibility? Management. Preparation of financial statement is whose responsibility? Management. Installation of surveillance system in the company is whose responsibility? Management. Making the proper security of their computer networks and proper security of their data is whose responsibility? Management. Compliance of laws and regulation is whose responsibility? Management. We just go to the management and check whether they are doing their responsibilities properly or not. That put together is known as ICS. What is ICS? Internal Control System. What is the second thing? We talked about GC. What do you mean by going concern? We want to check that my client is suffering from some disease or not. If he is suffering from that disease, is that disease very dangerous in nature or nominal in nature? If it is dangerous, is it going to eat away my client in the future or not? Going concern is all about present or future. So don't you think that when shareholders are waiting for your audit report, lenders are waiting for your audit report, government is waiting for your audit report, they are also waiting to know that whether the company which you are auditing is going to survive for a longer period of time or not. That's why we check what? Going concern. And what is the third thing we check? But do you remember I told you one concept of bloodhound dog and watchdog ka? So auditor is a bloodhound dog or a watchdog? Who has to act as a bloodhound? Management. We are only going to act as a watchdog. 143 subsection 12 में हमने क्या पढ़ा कि while doing the audit, if you come across any fraud, you have to report it to whom? Central. Anywhere I told you that you have to detect the fraud? No. If you come across. So what is the meaning between that? You don't have to behave like an investigator. You just are an examiner. You are doing the examination of financial statement. One fraud came in your front of your eyes. If it is less than 1 crore, do this. If it is greater than equals to 1 crore, do that. Are you getting the point? But regarding the internal control system, going concern and detection of frauds and errors, I have to collect what? Evidences. Without evidences, whether the client will listen to me or he will ignore me. So if I'll have the sufficient evidences in my pocket, he will always and always going to listen to me. So these are my which activities? Secondary objective. But now tell me what are my 4 primary objectives? To report on financial statement. Acha, do we give the absolute assurance or reasonable? That is my primary objective. मेरा main focus उसके ऊपर होना चाहिए. What is the second focus? To check that financial statements are prepared in accordance with accounting standards consistently. तो मेरे को ये फोकस करना है कि क्लाइंट का जो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स है, दे शुड बी प्रिपेयर्ड इन कंप्लायंस विद व्हाट? अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड. और मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली आई हैव टू चेक AFRF, एप्लीकेबल फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग. उसके अंदर मेरे को क्या चेक करना है? शेड्यूल 3 फॉलो किया है या नहीं, लॉज एंड रेगुलेशंस फॉलो करे या नहीं, अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड, अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज. अच्छा ये बताओ, प्रोविजन फॉर डाउटफुल डेट क्या होता है? इज इट एक्चुअल फिगर और एस्टिमेटेड फिगर? We may think that this much of bad debt may happen by the end of the year, so we create what? Provision. अब इसे हम लोग क्या बोलेंगे? Actual or accounting estimate? So we are going to also test them कि whether the accounting estimates made by the management are correct or not. All these put together is known as AFRF. तो ये सब 3 ऑब्जेक्टिव करने के बाद मेरा मेन फोकस क्या है? to ensure that कि financial statements are free from ROMM. What is ROMM? Risk of material. सर रिस्क ऑफ मटेरियल मिस स्टेटमेंट क्या होता है? क्लाइंट की फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट में फ्रॉड भी हो सकता है, एरर भी हो सकता है. विच वन इज इंटेंशनल? फ्रॉड. विच वन इज अनइंटेंशनल? एरर है तो फिर भी नॉर्मल है, इट मीन्स इट्स फाइन. बट इफ इट इज अ फ्रॉड, देन आई हैव टू डिटेक्ट द फ्रॉड एंड ब्रिंग इट टू द नोटिस ऑफ माई यूजर्स ऑफ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट. मेरे को शेयर होल्डर को भी बताना है, मैनेजमेंट को भी बताना है, गवर्नमेंट को भी बताना है, लेंडर्स को भी, क्रेडिटर्स को भी, सो दैट दे कैन टेक द इन्फॉर्म्ड डिसीजन इन द फ्यूचर कि डू दे वांट टू कंटिन्यू विद दिस क्लाइंट और नॉट. डिड यू गेट द पॉइंट? दैट्स द रीजन वी आर कनेक्टेड विद द कंपनी और वी आर एन इंडिपेंडेंट पर्सन. क्योंकि इंडिपेंडेंट पर्सन ओनली कैन गिव द विच जजमेंट? इंडिपेंडेंट जजमेंट. Did you get the point? So we should be objective, we should be independent, confidentiality. All these are the qualities which are required in your connector. So are you able to connect each and every topic with each other? Now, today what we are going to understand, the other topic that is called essay 210. छोटा सा topic है. Essay, before essay 210, let me take you to the another topic. What is the name of that another topic? It is known as threats to the independence. What is the name of the topic, everyone? Threats to the independence. Let me take you to that topic. The name of the topic is threats to an independence. Abhi, yes. Now, this is also one of the topic which is going to be there in your portion, and it has been asked so many times. Now, what is the name of the topic, everyone? Threats to the independence. अभी threats to the independence का मतलब क्या होता है? सर, first of all, पहले तो ये बताओ, what do you mean by the term called independence? First, read the point. What is the meaning of independent? No financial relationship with client, no family relationship with the client, do not do the things as per the directions of management, and maintaining the impartial and unbiased attitude. All these put together is known as what? Independence. But let me tell you one thing. You are not God as a chartered accountant when you get qualified. Whether you are a rank holder or you are a non-rank holder, when you actually set up your practice and when you actually go into the job, remember one thing, these kind of threats, these 5 threats are always going to follow you. What is the threat number 1? Self-interest threat. What is the threat number 2? Self-review threat. What is the threat number 3? Advocacy threat. What is the threat number 4? Familiarity threats. And what is the next one? Intimidation threats. I will tell you the meaning of each and every threat. Now, listen to this point very, very carefully. Self-interest threat का मतलब क्या होता है? Self-interest threat is that threat if I have a financial relationship with the client. अगर मैं तुम्हें एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल बताता हूं. Suppose my wife is holding 2 lakh shares of Reliance Industries Limited. And Reliance Industries Limited has appointed me as a what? Auditor of that company. Now tell me one thing, is there any kind of threat you are seeing to my independence? What kind of threat? Self-interest threat. मतलब मेरा पैसा already is invested in one company where I have been appointed as an auditor. Now tell me one thing, will I be able to maintain my independence and objectivity, or very difficult to maintain? It's a very dicey kind of situation. What is a dicey kind of situation? I may be able to control my emotions or I may not be able to control. Because if I will give a negative report, what will happen to the share price of the company? And ultimately it will be a loss in the whose pocket? My pocket. Because it is being invested. So those kind of threats are known as which one? Self-interest threats. फिर next threat आते हैं. What are those threats? Self-review threats. अब इसको ध्यान से सुनना what I'm saying. 31st March 2022 को you are a chartered accountant. In practice, you were working as a director in one company. What you were working as? So 31st March 2022 को you gave a resignation as a director. Now you are a director or you are no longer a director. 7th June 2022 को the same company where you were a director, they appointed you as a what? Auditor now. क्योंकि if you are a director, you are not allowed to be appointed as an auditor. So first you resigned and then you got appointed as a what? But let me ask you one thing. 7th June 2022 को when you are going to start doing the audit of this company for the which financial year? You are going to do the audit for the 21-22 financial year. तो 21-22 financial year में you were what? Director. It means you are going to review your own work. Are you getting the point? You are going to examine your own done work. At that point of time, what kind of, अच्छा, imagine करो कि I am teaching you right now and tomorrow one student comes to me and say that, sir आपने 143 subsection 12 कितना गलत पढ़ाया सर, उसमें पेनल्टी थी 1 लाख to 25 lakhs, आपने बोला 5 lakhs and 1 lakh. How will I feel at that point of time? Will I feel rejected in my life or not? Yes. कि one student is telling me कि my work is not properly done. So that kind of threats, अच्छा imagine करो, suppose you are a 30 years old practicing chartered accountant, 7-8 years you are already doing the practice, and one article student comes to you and he says, hey mad fellow, you don't know how to do the audit. Sir, you have done the audit improperly. I have seen the last year documents, audit was not done properly. At that point of time, how you will feel? You will feel rejected. Means somebody is telling you to review your own work. So that kind of threat is known as what? Self-review threat. Are you getting? Suppose your father or mother has given you one responsibility. कि बेटा, I'm going for 4-5 hours out of this this particular area. तो you will be alone at home. तो सब्जी बना लेना, खाना बना लेना, ये बनाना. लास्ट में आके इवनिंग में आके फादर टेस्ट कर रहे, मदर टेस्ट कर रहे, तो तुम्हारी तो ऐसा कांप रहे होंगे नहीं कि दिस इज कॉल्ड सेल्फ रिव्यू थ्रेट. आर यू गेटिंग? यू ओनली प्रिपेयर्ड एंड दे आर गोइंग टू टेस्ट इट. तो दैट काइंड ऑफ थ्रेट्स आर आल्सो सम थ्रेट्स व्हिच यू आर गोइंग टू फील इन योर लाइफ. जैसे मैं तुम्हें बताता हूं सेल्फ रिव्यू थ्रेट का मतलब क्या है. अब तुम मुझे बताओ, अप टू 31/3/2022 you worked as a what? Director. After that, for the same company you are working as a what? So you are reviewing your own work as a director or not? So it means you are going to identify the mistakes in your own work. So that kind of threat is known as what? Did you get the point? So what are the two types of threats we understood? Self-interest threats, self-review threat. What is the third threat we have? Advocacy threats. अच्छा, अब सुनना ध्यान से. Advocacy threat का मतलब क्या होता है? अच्छा, advocacy word has come from the word called advocate. What does the advocate do for his client? Does he go against his client or he always favors his client? Same is the case with me. अब तुम say for example, I am the auditor of Reliance Industries Limited. तो Reliance Industries Limited मेरा client है, ठीक है ना? तो now my friend called me one day कि रोहित मेरे पास 1 crore rupees idle है. I want to invest that money in the stock market. Tell me the good share where I can invest my 1 crore rupees. मैंने कहा भाई Reliance में लगा दे. Make sure that कि Reliance total 1 crore you invested in what? Reliance. अब मेरे यहाँ पे डुग हो रही है. क्यों? क्योंकि I advocated my client. I referred my client to my client. Now the price may go up or the price may go. अगर तो अप गया तो he'll be very happy. मेरे को ताज कृष्णा में पार्टी पक्की है. But if the price is going to go down at that point of time, whether I'll be looking like a villain in his eyes or not. So that kind of threats are known as what? Advocacy threats. When you refer someone, are you getting the point? When you are establishing a too close relationship with someone, you can't avoid it. You will refer that person only. So what are the three types of threats we are done with, everyone? Self-interest, self-review, अच्छा, what is this? यहां पे इसको पढ़ो, ये क्या लिखा हुआ है? Familiar. तो family मतलब क्या है? Suppose one of your family member is having a job in one company and where you are working as an what? Auditor. अब suppose मेरी wife ही है, मेरी wife एक कंपनी में फाइनेंस मैनेजर है और वही कंपनी में I am going to do an audit. At that point of time, I am facing which kind of threat? Familiarity threat. What do you mean by familiarity threat? If I will try to become more objective and more independent, more impartial and more unbiased, ultimately, indirectly, it will affect my whose job? My wife's job. Are you getting the boss to whom I am giving the negative report? Do you think that he will not torture my wife in that case? Yes. So that kind of threat is called what? Familiarity threats. And what is the fifth threat, everyone? Intimidation threats. अब मैं तुम्हें बताता हूं एक चीज. How many of you know that we have an act called Chartered Accountants Act? Anybody knows? क्या होता है Chartered Accountants Act? Chartered Accountant Act क्या बोलता है कि there are some ethics you have to follow when you are working as a CA in practice or CA in service in the market. You dare to go beyond those ethics. जैसे मैं तुम्हें एक छोटा सा रीजन बताता हूं. जैसे let's say for example, this is one company. देखना एग्जांपल, ये है A Limited. In the A Limited, Mr. X was the auditor. तो A Limited removed Mr. X and they brought Mr. Y as a new auditor. Which auditor? अभी ICAI क्या बोलता है, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स एक्ट क्या बोलता है कि न्यू ऑडिटर बिफोर ज्वाइनिंग एज एन ऑडिटर मस्ट कम्युनिकेट विद विच ऑडिटर? ओल्ड ऑडिटर. इट मींस इनकमिंग ऑडिटर मस्ट कम्युनिकेट इन राइटिंग विद विच ऑडिटर? आउटगोइंग ऑडिटर. तो हु इज द आउटगोइंग ऑडिटर? हु इज द इनकमिंग ऑडिटर? बट माय क्वेश्चन इज व्हाई? क्यों मैं करूं? Why should I communicate with the outgoing auditor? मेरे को तो opportunity मिल रहा है. I'm तो getting a new audit. मेरे को पैसा आएगा. But ICAI says that कि please ask the company the reasons why they have replaced the old auditor with the new auditor. There may be a case that like last old auditor, when he asked his audit fees, the company refused to pay. That the same thing may happen with you as well. So at that point of time, that will be a rightful decision or wrongful decision. So that is why ICAI is saying that कि it is ethical behavior कि incoming auditor should first communicate with whom? मान लो मैंने communicate नहीं किया. I started doing an audit. Are you gonna have somebody made a complaint against me to whom? ICAI. अब ICAI will punish me. That kind of threats are known as which threats, everyone? Intimidation. Threats of getting punished. Or let me tell you one thing. You all will agree with me. Tell me one thing. Is setting up a practice a very easy thing or very difficult? देखो, remember one thing. 90% of the corporate world in India is in the hands of 10% of the practicing chartered accountants. Are you understanding? And only 10% of the corporate world is in the hands of what? 90% of the remaining chartered accountant. इसका मतलब chartered accountant practice जो profession है, there is also a monopoly. कि मतलब big chartered accountants only get the assignments from the big companies. So people like you and me who are freshly qualified and new in the market, they will not give us the assignment. Why? Because the big chartered accountants who are 30 years old, 40 years old in practice, they already have conquered the market. So it's very difficult to make your place in the market called what? Chartered accountancy. So at that point of time, say for example, in the first 1 or 2 years में, you will be having 5 to 6 clients. अब suppose मेरे पास 6 clients थे in the very first year. Out of that 6 client, one of the client was giving me 8 lakh rupees in a year का turnover. How much he is giving me? मतलब I was earning almost 8 lakh rupees by providing the services to him. Remaining 5 were giving me almost, say for example, 3-4 lakhs. So tell me, 5 are giving me 3-4 lakhs and 1 is giving me 8 lakhs. Who is my prime client? The one who is giving me 8 lakhs. Now tell me, can I say that my bread and butter, my empty stomach is getting fed by that client only? Now that client will try to pressurize me due to this reason. He will say that, Rohit, whatever I'll say, sign the audit report accordingly, otherwise turn around, po. If I will be thrown out of the company, what will happen? My 80% of the revenue will go zero. Are you getting the point? So do I have a threat of getting removed or not? So I will automatically compromise. So I am not saying that ki chartered accountant is a free bird. I'm not saying that auditor is a free bird. Even after getting qualified, even though you are a self-employed chartered accountant in practice, I have suffered, my seniors have suffered, and you are also going to suffer these kind of threats in your life. So I'm not saying that it's a theoretical topic. It's a very much what? Practical topic. You all are going to suffer these kind of threats, either one threat or one of more threats. Are you getting the point? So tell me, what are the 5 types of threats we did? So sometimes you may feel the self-interest threat. Sometimes you may face what? Self-review threat. Sometimes advocacy threats. Sometimes familiarity threats. And sometimes, so these are the put together. Can I call them as the threats to my independence? I wanted to give a negative report, but I'm unable to give it because this threat is posing a threat on my head. It is overcoming my independence. So remember one thing, it is not always right to say that कि you will always behave ethical. जैसे मैंने तुम्हें कल बताया, परसों एक केस बताया था कि client came to me with a income tax notice and all. ये पता क्या होता है? ये situation demand करती है that kind of decision. You cannot have always the bag of these qualities on your shoulder कि no, I will always remain honest, I will always remain sincere, I will always remain independent, impartial, unbiased. ऐसा नहीं होता. Practical life में ऐसा नहीं होता. These heavy words look very good when we are reading it, but in practical life it is very difficult to implement them. क्योंकि at the end of the day you have a whole family. अच्छा ये बताओ, which is the biggest responsibility of every person on this planet? Family. Family के आगे कुछ भी नहीं, ठीक है ना. अगर मेरे को किसी का काट के I have to make a lakhs and lakhs of money, I will do it twice, thrice, 10 times, 20 times also. In the eyes of the public it might be looking unethical, but what I have to do? I have to feed my empty stomach. Are you getting the point or not? I have to take care of my family. So these threats are definitely going to come in your life either in one way or another. So just tell me the 5 types of threats we understood. Self-interest threats, review threats, advocacy threats, familiarity threats, and independence. So if I have to ask you, do you know the meaning of each threat now? What do you mean by self-review threats? When you have to review your own work. Self-interest threat, maybe I am having a financial connection with the client. What do you mean by advocacy threats? When you refer someone. Are you getting the point? And what is a familiarity threat? When one of my close relative or friend or family member is working in a company. And what is the last threat? You have a threat of getting punished or threat of getting removed or threat of getting penalized. अब तुम मुझे बताओ, अगर मैं रिलायंस जैसी कंपनी का ऑडिटर हूं, इफ आई एम एन ऑडिटर ऑफ अ कंपनी लाइक रिलायंस ग्रुप ऑफ कंपनीज, डोंट यू थिंक दैट ही इज टू बिग टू कीप माय माउथ शट? आर यू गेटिंग? अगर मैं बोलूंगा सर आई वांट टू गिव अ नेगेटिव रिपोर्ट, व्हाट ही विल से, ओके गिव. सो मे बी टुडे इवनिंग आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू रीच माय प्लेस. आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग माय पॉइंट? तो ये लोग है ना, ये जो बिग कॉर्पोरेट हाउसेस होते हैं, दे आर एक्चुअली द माफियास. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? तो यू डेयर टू गो अगेंस्ट देम, दे वोंट अलाउ बिकॉज देयर ईगो इज बिगर देन माउंट एवरेस्ट. You dare to touch it, you can't touch it first of all, but if you dare to just touch it also, na, they will show you your actual position in their life. Are you getting the point? So we are chartered accountants. Sometimes we have, I'm not saying always compromise your qualities, but sometimes you have to adjust according to the environment under which you are doing the work. Are you understanding my point? समझ में आ रहा है? तो फ्यूचर में ये मत बोलना कि सर ने हमें पढ़ाया था इंटीग्रिटी, ऑब्जेक्टिविटी, इंडिपेंडेंस, कॉन्फिडेंशियल. भैया जब यहां पे तलवार लटकती है ना, तो ये सारा इंटीग्रिटी मुंह से उल्टी के जैसे निकल, वॉमिट, उल्टी, ये सब बाहर निकल जाता है, पूरा स्टमक खाली हो जाता है. फिर तुमने जो भी इंटरमीडिएट में और फाइनल में पढ़ा है ना, ये कोड ऑफ एथिक्स, एथिकल रिक्वायरमेंट्स, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट शुड बी दिस एंड दैट, ये सब बुकिश नॉलेज हो जाती है. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? तो प्रैक्टिकली सीन इज डिफरेंट एंड थ्योरेटिकली सीन है. तो एग्जाम में यू हैव टू राइट दिस, but in your actual life of exam you may sometimes compromise them for the betterment of yours. Are you getting the point? ठीक है, समझ में आ रहा है सर? So let us understand what do you mean by self-interest threats. Everyone read it. What is self-interest threat? When an auditing firm or its partner or its associate could benefit from financial interest in a which client? Audit client. तो जब उसने मेरे को बोला, भाई तू मेरे को एक काम कर, तू मेरे को पॉजिटिव रिपोर्ट दे दे, मैं 50,000 शेयर्स तेरे अकाउंट में क्रेडिट कर दूंगा. अब मेरे को क्या आ रहा है, विच इंटरेस्ट? तो मेरे को बड़ा भी बनना है और ऊपर से एथिकल भी बनना है. तो ये बड़े वाला पॉइंट ज्यादा भारी है, तो एथिकल वाला पॉइंट कम है. तो इट मींस आई विल डेफिनेटली लिटिल बिट मे गेट अंडर द इंप्रेशन ऑफ दिस काइंड ऑफ थ्रेट. तो दैट काइंड ऑफ थ्रेट इज नोन एज self review threat. Oh sorry, self interest threat. Now read the self review threat. Read it. It occurs when during a review and judgment and conclusion reached in the previous audit and non-audit engagement, or when a member of the audit team was previously a what? Director or senior management employee of the client. मतलब today you are an auditor, but 1 year back you were the manager or director in that particular company. So that is called which kind of threat? Self review threat. फिर अपने को third threat क्या है? Advocacy threat का मतलब है, it occurs when the auditor promotes or is perceived to promote a client opinion to a point where the people may believe that objectivity is getting what? Compromised. Are you getting the point? अच्छा, if my client, if my friend who told me, भाई मेरे पास 1 crore है, please tell me to invest, and I told him which company? Reliance. अगर share price will go down, तो ही मे थिंक लाइक दैट, अरे यार रोहित ने मेरे को रिलायंस इसलिए बोला बिकॉज ही इज द ऑडिटर ऑफ व्हाट, रिलायंस. तो डोंट यू थिंक दैट इन हिज आईज वेदर माई status or my respect is going up or down? That kind of threat is known as advocacy threats. What is the fourth threat, everyone? It occurs when an auditor forms a relationship with the client whereby they end up being too sympathetic to the client's interest, that is close relative of the audit team working in a what, senior position in the client's company, right or not, or accepting the gifts and hospitalities from the director of company or employee. कई बार क्या होता है, you know, ये जो टॉप लेवल के पीपल होते हैं ना, सीईओ सीएफओ, दे हैव अ लॉट ऑफ फ्यूचर विजन. ये स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट में पढ़ा होगा, कॉर्पोरेट लेवल स्ट्रेटेजी. ये क्या करते हैं, सपोज दे वांट मी टू गिव देम अ फेवर आफ्टर 2 years, बट दे विल गिव मी अ फेवर टुडे सो दैट दे कैन आस्क दैट फेवर बैक आफ्टर हाउ मेनी ईयर्स. अब मान लो मुकेश अंबानी ने मेरे को बोला रोहित आई एम वेरी प्राउड ऑफ यू. मैंने कहा सर थैंक यू सो मच. अच्छा रोहित ये लो एक बॉक्स खोलो. मैंने बॉक्स खोला, BMW की पड़ी अंदर. मैंने बोला सर क्यों? ऐसे ही, वी आर प्राउड ऑफ यू, यू आर डूइंग अ गुड वर्क. कभी भी एक्सेप्ट नहीं करना. ये पता क्या है, दिस इज अ डेथ ट्रैप. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? टुडे ही इज गिविंग यू BMW and day after tomorrow, maybe after 1 year or 2 years, he will ask you a favor back. So that's what they are saying, that accepting the gift or hospitality from a director or a company, never accept that. Otherwise you will end up getting the which kind of threat? Familiarity threat. And what is the last threat, everyone? Intimidation threat. क्या है intimidation threat? Read. It occurs when auditors are forced to act non-objectively. What do you mean by non-objectively? Partial or impartial? Partial. Biased or unbiased? Biased. Without any professional skepticism. These happen because of the threats of what? Replacement. Over what? Disagreement. अब मेरा वो मेन क्लाइंट है who is giving me 8 lakh rupees का per annum का turnover. तो I'm having a threat. If I will go disagreement with my client, maybe he may replace me with what? Another auditor. So I may lose my revenue or not. So that kind of threat is known as intimidation threat. So did you all understand the 5 different types of threats? So what are the 5 threats? Okay. So अपने को 5 threats we understood. But when we know that something is going to affect you, are you going to keep your hands folded? Or you are going to face it? देखो, risk का मैंने तुम्हें example क्या बताया था? Risk is something which can be eliminated or it can be reduced. I know that these threats are there with me. अच्छा, say for example, suppose you are in the last 1 month of your examination. You know that your 50% of the preparation is only over. Remaining 50% is left and 1 month is left. So देखो, if you are going to give up, you will behave like a coward. Are you getting the point? But if in that 1 month, you will do some another strategy, you will change your planning or you will make some good strategy to cover the remaining 50% also, it means you have done something to your life. Are you going to, same is the case here. I know that these 5 threats I am going to face, either in one way or what? Another way. So should I keep my hands folded like this or I should work upon that? तो मैं क्या करूं? इसका मतलब next topic which we are going to understand is what? Safeguards to independence. So when I know that the threats are there with me, what should I do to avoid those threats? What is the point number 1? Read it. Read the point number 1, everyone. What is written? It is essential that auditor should always be and appears to be independent of the client. That is to have a public confidence on his profession. देखो सर क्या होता है, मैं तुम्हें बताता हूं. There are 2 types of chartered accountants in the practical life. One who will keep on doing unethical things, but that is also not correct. Sometimes 1 time out of 10 times, if you have to compromise, you can, because you are suffering from that threat. Remember one thing, just try to analyze the situation which I am saying. Crores and crores of people who have invested their hard money in their companies, they are waiting for your audit report. They are not interested in looking at the signatures of Mukesh Ambani. They are interested in the signatures of whom? Chartered accountant. So don't you think that you have a lot of expectations का responsibility on your shoulder? Yes. So sometimes क्या होता है, you have to weigh the situation. कि if you think that कि yes, you are getting too much affected, then definitely you will favor yourself. But if you think that कि by foregoing this much of revenue, if I can earn the trust of crores and lakhs of people, then tell me which one is a better situation. Foregoing the small revenue or earning the more trust and confidence. So they are saying that try to be independent from your mind and from your what? Appearance. So you should not be independent from your mind. You should be independent from your mind as well as what? Appearance. Do not show any of your weakness to your client. If the client will, अच्छा अगर तुम क्लाइंट को बोलते रहोगे सर मेरा ये ख्वाब है सर एक BMW होनी चाहिए अपने पास, तो क्लाइंट को पता चल गया कि ये बंदे को क्या चाहिए, समझ में आ रहा है? अगर तुम बोलोगे सर BMW क्या लेते सर, चिल्लर गाड़ी है सर, अपन जैगुआर वैगुआर लेंगे, रेंज रोवर लेंगे, थोड़ी बड़ी सी रॉयल्स रॉयल्स लेंगे, बट आई थिंक दैट आई कैन अचीव इट, तो ऐसे क्या लगे क्लाइंट को, अरे यार बंदे के पास कैपेबिलिटी है, ही विल डू व्हाटएवर ही वांट्स टू अचीव हिज ड्रीम्स. तो डू नॉट शो योर व्हाट weaknesses. If you will show your weaknesses to the client, what will happen? He will overcome. He will take the undue advantage of that situation. Did you understand the point number one? Now, what is the point number two? An auditor necessarily requires to have implementation of what? Fundamental principles and ethical requirements like what? Integrity, objectivity, profit. देखो सर क्या होता है, prevention is always better than cure. If you think that your client is going to suppress you, if you can smell that 1 month, 10 days before only, so don't you think that you should have some initiatives? You should start taking some initiatives to prevent that situation or not? तो integrity का मतलब क्या होता है? वो बोलते हैं कि you should have integrity. What do you mean by integrity? Be honest, sincere, straightforward. Objectivity means impartial. And if the client you think that is going to suppress you, उसको पहले ही indication दे दो, सर मैं तो honest हूँ. देखो सर मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ, one client will go na, another 10 will come if you will show honesty in the life. Are you getting the point? Sometimes doing the compromise is fine, but not always doing the compromise. Otherwise you will fall into the trap and trap and trap and trap. तो एक दो बार चलता है, but not always. So you always have to maintain integrity, objectivity, and what is this? Which mind? मेरे को BMW offer क्यों कर रहे हैं? Are you getting the point? Like that you have to see. Why he is offering me a BMW? Why he is asking me to come over the dinner? Why he is asking me to have a personal meeting other than the other directors? So you should always have a which mind? Questioning. अब समझ में आ रहा है why we need to build up these characters and all. Next point क्या है sir? What is the third safeguard? Be cautious before accepting any audit assignment which may lead to the word threats to an individual. अगर तुम्हें ऑलरेडी पता है कि योर वाइफ इज वर्किंग इन अ कंपनी वेयर यू मे फेस अ विच थ्रेट, फैमिलियरिटी देयर, तो यू शुड अवॉइड टेकिंग दैट ऑडिट ना. अरे एक कंपनी जाएगी, इंडिया में 16 लाख कंपनीज हैं, आर यू गेटिंग ना? एक कंपनी जाएगी दूसरी आएगी, तो यू कैन अवॉइड द थ्रेट इन द बिगिनिंग ओनली और नॉट बाय एक्सेप्टिंग और बाय अवॉइडिंग इट. दैट इज द थर्ड सेफगार्ड. व्हाट इज द फोर्थ सेफगार्ड? इफ बाय मिस्टेक द थ्रेट ऑलरेडी exists, then auditor shall either desist from the task or use safeguards to what? Eliminate it. अब मैं तुम्हें बताता हूं क्या होता है प्रैक्टिकली. अपना यहां पे आता है SA 220. What is the standard? SA 220 क्या बोलता है? Sometimes situation is so hard that you are unable to come out of it. Then hire a third person to do your task. Hire a which person? देखो सर, I can come under the influence of my boss, but the third person will not. मैं अपने बॉस क्या बोलूंगा? सर मेरी तबीयत अच्छी नहीं है, सॉरी आई कांट कम फॉर योर इन्वेंट्री वैल्यूएशन बिकॉज आई नो दैट ही वांट्स मी टू डू सम हेरा फेरी. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? तो आई टोल्ड हिम सर आई विल नॉट कम, बट वन ऑफ माई फ्रेंड इज देयर हु इज ऑल्सो इक्विवेलेंट चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, ही मे कम. तो वेदर माई फ्रेंड नोज माई बॉस, तो दैट काइंड ऑफ थ्रेट विल कम और विल नॉट कम. So am I able to prevent that situation of coming under the pressure of my client or not? So yes. So that is the fourth safeguard. And what is the last safeguard, everyone? If an auditor is unable to implement his credible safeguards, then he must not accept the work. तो इसका मतलब someone has very rightly said तोल मोल के बोल. What do you mean by तोल मोल के बोल? कि make sure that if you think that future में you are going to suffer the threats, better to keep yourself away from those kind of assignments. So this is what the very, very important topic which they may ask you in the examination. What is the name of the topic? Threats to independence and what? Safeguards to independence. Crystal clear हुआ? Easy topic था, very easy था. Very easy. Now the next topic which you have to understand is a very easy, three simple differences you have to learn. The difference between, what is the first difference? Difference between accounting and auditing. I'm not going to tell, you are only going to tell me. What is the difference between accounting and auditing? jaldi se batao. Acha, if I have to ask you, can anybody tell me in the class, anybody sitting in the class can tell me the definition of accounting? बड़ी गंदी सी definition थी. It's a art or science. बताओ 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 बताओ. बोलो बोलो. It's an art or science of journalizing, classifying, recording, balancing, फलाना डिमना. गंदी सी definition है. तो यहाँ पे पहला difference क्या आ गया? Definition. And on the another side what? Definition. अच्छा, इसका definition, देखा, I know you are very clever. So tell me, what is the meaning of auditing, everyone? Okay. अभी तुम मुझे बताओ, तुम्हें अपने आप पे प्राउड फील हो रहा है कि मतलब देखो, मतलब तुम चेंज देखो इन एनी अदर सब्जेक्ट और ऑडिटिंग में. ऑडिटिंग में कैसे चीज अपने फटाक से अंदर जा रही है, समझ में आ रहा है? वही मैंने तुम्हें अकाउंटिंग की डेफिनेशन पूछी, विच यू आर डूइंग सिंस योर 11th स्टैंडर्ड and you are unable to tell me, but the auditing is, sir, it's an independent and systematic examination of financial information of an entity, whether profit oriented or not, irrespective of size, nature and structure, with an objective to express an opinion on the financials. ऐसा फट करके night 3 o'clock also if I'll check you अपना, हाँ सर, auditing is an independent and नींद में भी बोल दोगे. समझ में आ गया? पहला डिफरेंस समझ में आया? डिफरेंस बिटवीन द डेफिनेशन एंड मीनिंग. अच्छा, व्हाट स्टार्ट्स एंड व्हाट एंड्स? When the accounting ends, what starts? Auditing starts. समझ में आया सर? That is the difference number 2. अच्छा, what is the third difference? Accounting is whose responsibility? तो ये किसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है? मैनेजमेंट से रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. एंड ऑडिटिंग किसकी? ऑडिटर से रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, ऑब्वियसली. तो इट इज ऑडिटर से रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. अच्छा, where do we record the financials? Where do we review the financials? Accounting में we record the financials, and where do we review it? Auditing में we review the financials. अच्छा, where the qualification mandatory? Where the qualification is not so mandatory? Sir, अच्छा, is it necessary that accountant has to be a practicing CA? Or it can be a BCom also? BCom, MBA, finance, these people. So qualification matters or does not matter? Qualification does not matter. But who can do the audit? Only qualified practicing chartered accountant can do the audit. So where qualification matters? Auditing. Does not matter? And last but not the least, accountant must be expert in what? Accounting standards. But auditor should be expert in accounting standards plus standards on audit. हमें तो दोनों चीजें में एक्सपर्ट होना पड़ेगा ना, क्योंकि when the accounting ends, what starts? Auditing. Auditing is all about examination of what? Accounting. So I have to be expert in both SA as well as what? Yes. So did you understand the difference between accounting and auditing? Okay. Next difference, everyone. What is the next difference you are going to tell me? Next difference you are going to tell me between auditing and investigation. ये तो बता ही दोगे, I know. What is the major difference between the two? What starts with a suspicious mind? So it does not start with suspicious mind. And what does? Yes, this one starts with what? Suspicious mind. इसके अलावा सर auditing starts with A. सर एक और है, auditing ends with what? G, whereas the investigation ends with N. तो ये लिखोगे तो I से बोलेगा zero starts with Z and ends with O. That is what I have given you. समझ में आ रहा? चलो जल्दी बताओ और कोई डिफरेंस. If you think एग्जामिनेशन, तो इन्वेस्टिगेशन में क्या लगेगा? इट इज इन्वेस्टिगेशन. नहीं 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 नहीं. अच्छा मैं तुम्हें एक छोटा सा एग्जाम, मैं तुम्हें बेस देता हूं, आई थिंक यू विल अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम द बेस एंड यू विल बी एबल टू गिव मी द आंसर. अच्छा, विच वन हैज अ स्पेसिफाइड पीरियड ऑफ टाइम to be complete and which one may take years, months, weeks, days and hours? No specified time. Auditing is limited to one financial year. Auditing is always takes place of one financial year. Where the investigation में any specified time period or no specified? तो ये तो अपने को हो गया ये पॉइंट्स, नो स्पेसिफाइड टाइम पीरियड. अभी तो बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स हैं. अच्छा ये बताओ, ऑडिटिंग में we use the word what? True and fair or true and correct? Yeah, true and fair. क्योंकि auditing is all about giving what? But investigation में we do not use the word called true and fair. Investigation में we use the word called true and correct because it is all about certification of facts. Certification of what? Facts. Are you understanding the difference now? तो अपना ऑडिटिंग में ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? ट्रूथनेस एंड फेयरनेस. एंड व्हाट इज माय ऑब्जेक्टिव इन इन्वेस्टिगेशन? ट्रूथनेस एंड करेक्ट. अच्छा ये बताओ, ऑडिटिंग इज फॉर अ लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम और शॉर्टर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम? तो कैन आई से दैट माय 90% ऑफ द ऑडिट इज बेस्ड अपॉन एविडेंसेस व्हिच आई कलेक्ट और एविडेंसेस व्हिच आर प्रोवाइडेड टू मी बाय द मैनेजमेंट? क्योंकि 10 दिन में हम लोग सब कुछ कलेक्ट नहीं कर सकते. वी कांट डू द 100% ऑडिट इन 10 days. तो देयरफॉर माय 90% ऑफ द ऑडिट इज बेस्ड अपॉन विच काइंड ऑफ एविडेंसेस which are collected by me or which are provided by the management. So in our auditing language we call them as persuasive evidence. Which evidence everyone? So auditing is based upon which evidence? Persuasive. But investigation में तो we are doing investigation on management. Therefore we cannot even accept a single word which is said by whom? Management. So auditing is investigation is based upon what? Conclusive evidence. दोनों में difference समझ में आया? Tell me the 4 difference first. It does not start with a suspicious mind. It yes starts with a suspicion. It is limited to one financial year. There is no specific time period. Truthness and fairness, truthness and correct. And what is this one? And that one is what? Conclusive evidence. अच्छा ये बताओ, ऑडिटर को अपॉइंट कौन करता है? ऑडिटर को अपॉइंट करता है शेयर होल्डर्स इन एजीएम. व्हाट इज एजीएम? चलो अपन लॉ में जाएंगे. अभी लॉ में सेक्शन नंबर 96 करा है हमने, एजीएम करा है. एजीएम में हमने 2 बिजनेस करे, ऑर्डिनरी बिजनेस, स्पेशल. ऑर्डिनरी में 4, अडॉप्शन ऑफ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट, अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ ऑडिटर्स, अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ डायरेक्टर, declaration of dividend. तो इट मींस ऑडिटर इज ऑलवेज अपॉइंटेड बाय द शेयर होल्डर, लेकिन इन्वेस्टिगेटर इज अपॉइंटेड बाय द सेंट्रल. इन्वेस्टिगेटर को कौन अपॉइंट करता है? सेंट्रल. तो ये पॉइंट है अपना अपॉइंटमेंट का. डिड यू गेट द पॉइंट? अच्छा ये बताओ, ये जो लक्ष्मण रेखा होती है, मालूम है ना लक्ष्मण रेखा? ऑडिटर की जो स्कोप है, पैरामीटर्स है, बाउंड्रीज है, लक्ष्मण रेखा है, वो कौन डिसाइड करता है? नहीं, ऑडिटर्स लक्ष्मण रेखा बाउंड्री स्कोप इज डिसाइडेड बाय द statute or act under which you are appointed. My scope, if I am a company auditor, my scope is written in the Companies Act. Which act? If I am a bank auditor, my scope is written in the Banking Regulation Act. So act under which I have been appointed, that tells me कि रोहित what you can do, what you can't do. तो my scope is decided by the statute or act. यहां पे तुम्हारा स्कोप कौन डिटरमाइन करता है? सर. तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट तुम्हें बताएगी तुम्हें कितना इन्वेस्टिगेट करना है. भाई ये तुम्हारा पैरामीटर्स है, इसके बीच बीच में इन्वेस्टिगेट करो. बट सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट इज नॉट गोइंग टू टेल मी व्हेन आई एम डूइंग द ऑडिट. माय ऑडिट में हु विल टेल मी? माय एक्ट और माय स्टैट्यूट. यहां तक समझ में आ रहा है? अच्छा ये बताओ, रिपोर्टिंग किसको करेंगे? इन ऑडिटिंग वी रिपोर्टेड टू होम? यूजर्स ऑफ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट. जल्दी से बता दो 8 यूजर्स. मैनेजमेंट. परफेक्ट, यू ऑल अंडरस्टूड. तो ऑडिटिंग में वी रिपोर्टेड टू होम? यूजर्स. सर यहां पे अपन रिपोर्टिंग भी किसको करेंगे? सेंट्रल. डिफरेंस समझ में आ रहे हैं सारे? अच्छा ये बताओ, वेयर द क्वालिफिकेशन मैटर्स, जहां पे वेयर द मैंडेटरी या क्वालिफाइड प्रैक्टिसिंग सीए इज रिक्वायर्ड. तो हियर क्वालिफाइड प्रैक्टिसिंग सीए इज द ओनली पर्सन हु कैन डू व्हाट? ऑडिट, बट यहां पे क्वालिफिकेशन डज नॉट मैटर। यहां पे आईपीएस, आईएएस, सीबीआई कोई भी इन्वेस्टिगेट कर सकता है। आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? तो इन्वेस्टिगेशन नीड नॉट बी ओनली कैरिड आउट बाय द चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इन प्रैक्टिस, इट कैन बी एनीवन, बट ऑडिटिंग कैन ओनली बी डन बाय द क्वालिफाइड प्रैक्टिसिंग सीए। यहां तक समझ में आया? एंड वेयर डू वी इशू रिपोर्ट, वेयर डू वी इशू सर्टिफिकेट? ऑडिटिंग में वी इशू व्हाट? रिपोर्ट, एंड हियर वी इशू व्हाट? सर्टिफिकेट। तो याद रखना, सर्टिफिकेट में हमेशा टीएनसी कम्स। व्हाट इज टीएनसी? ट्रूथनेस एंड करेक्टनेस। और रिपोर्ट में क्या आएगा? टी एंड एफ, ट्रूथनेस एंड, इज इट क्लियर एवरीवन? तो दीज आर द मेजर डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन व्हाट एंड व्हाट? ऑडिटिंग एंड इन्वेस्टिगेशन। अभी और भी है सो मेनी, सीए फाइनल में भी सेम चैप्टर यू हैव, दैट इज कॉल्ड investigation, due diligence and forensic audit. So there you will understand so many things, right? So what are the two differences we are done with? Accounting and auditing. Along with that we also understood what? चलो एक और डिफरेंस करते हैं, फिर अपन will move to the next important topic. What is the next difference we have to do? That is known as internal audit and external audit. ये तो तुमने पढ़ा हुआ है, सेक्शन नंबर 138 ऑफ कंपनीज एक्ट 2013 टॉक्स अबाउट द व्हिच ऑडिट? मेरे को ये बताएगा इंटरनल ऑडिट की एप्लीकेबिलिटी। इफ आई एम अ लिस्टेड कंपनी, इज द इंटरनल ऑडिट मैंडेटरी? आई एम अ लिस्टेड कंपनी, इज द इंटरनल ऑडिट मैंडेटरी? यस। और अच्छा, कभी भी याद रखना, अपने अंदर कॉन्फिडेंस की बहुत कमी है एज ए चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट। मैं तुम्हें ऐसा देख रहा हूं ना, तुम्हें लग रहा है कि मैंने कुछ गलत बोला क्या? दैट काइंड ऑफ फीलिंग कम्स ना व्हेन आई सी यू लाइक ऐसा करके, अच्छा, तो यू फील लाइक यू आर सेइंग समथिंग रॉन्ग, बट एक्चुअली सी यू आर सेइंग राइट ओनली। तो यू शुड बी कॉन्फिडेंट ऑन योर वर्ड। तो टेल मी वन थिंग, लिस्टेड कंपनी में इंटरनल ऑडिट इज मैंडेटरी? ओके। फिर अनलिस्टेड पब्लिक कंपनी में व्हेन इंटरनल ऑडिटर इज रिक्वायर्ड? either my public deposits are 25 crores or more, or paid up share capital is 50 crores or more, outstanding borrowing is 100 crores or more, turnover is 200। मैं तो बताऊं इससे इजी मेथड क्या है? 25 into 2, 50 into 2, 100 into 2, 200 हो गया ना? तो पब्लिक डिपॉजिट 25 crores or more, पेड अप शेयर कैपिटल 50 crores or more, आउटस्टैंडिंग बोरिंग्स 100 crores or more, टर्नओवर। और तीसरी कौन सी कंपनी बची? प्राइवेट कंपनी। प्राइवेट कंपनी में 0.1, 0.2 एलिमिनेट कर दो, बचा क्या? 3 and 4, आउटस्टैंडिंग बोरिंग्स 100 crores or more। तो ये तो हो गया अपना सेक्शन नंबर 138। बट ये बताओ, इंटरनल ऑडिट एंड एक्सटर्नल ऑडिट में मेजर डिफरेंस इज व्हाट? व्हाट इज द मेजर डिफरेंस? ही इज अपॉइंटेड बाय हुम? ये अपॉइंटेड बाय होता है बाय हुम? मैनेजमेंट। और he is appointed by whom? Shareholders in AGM। तो ये बताओ, who is the puppet of the management? Internal audit, puppet of the management, the one who will dance on the directions of the management is what? Internal audit। तो मेरे को ये बताओ, who is independent, who is not independent? मैंने ये क्वेश्चन इंटेंशनली पूछा, you all are wrong, listen, who is independent, who is not independent is wrong, who is more independent, who is less independent is right। दोनों में डिफरेंस समझ में आया? तो who is more independent everyone? तो internal is what? less independent and external is what? more independent। चलो ये भी पॉइंट समझ में आ गया। appointed by management, appointed by the shareholder, less independent, more independent। तो ये बताओ, रिपोर्टिंग किसको करेगा ये? he will report it to whom? management। ये किसको रिपोर्ट करेगा? अपना रिपोर्ट करेगा किसको? यूजर्स को। तो ये बता दो, इसका जो लक्ष्मण रेखा कौन डिसाइड करेगा? तो स्कोप ऑल्सो विल बी डिटरमाइंड बाय होम? मैनेजमेंट। ये स्कोप विल बी डिटरमाइंड बाय एक्ट। क्या वर्ड लिखेंगे? एक्ट और स्टैट्यूट। क्लियर एवरीवन? तो हाउ मेनी डिफरेंसेस आर ओवर? 4। अच्छा ये बताओ, हु वर्क्स विद द कंपनी थ्रू आउट द ईयर? इंटरनल ऑडिट। तो ही वर्क्स or does audit when throughout the year, right or not? And he works only after the closure of financial year, right? Okay, next point, Who takes care of both financial as well as non-financial aspects of the company? Vendor. तो ये दोनों चीजों में इंटरेस्टेड है. तो who is only interested in financial? External. तो he covers both financial and non-financial aspects. And this one covers what? Only financial. तो ये बताओ किसका scope is wider in nature? ध्यान से देना आंसर. Internal auditor's scope is what? Wider. And इसका scope क्या है? Narrow. Clear everyone? अच्छा और भी पूछ लेते हैं. अच्छा, anybody knows how the internal auditor's report happens? सुना ध्यान से. इंटरनल ऑडिटर का जो रिपोर्ट होता है वो होता है SIA 370 के अकॉर्डिंग. इसे बोलते हैं स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन इंटरनल ऑडिट नंबर 370. दिस इज हाउ द इंटरनल ऑडिटर रिपोर्ट्स. दिस यू डू नॉट हैव. CA फाइनल में there is one chapter called internal audit management and operational audit. There also you just have a reference of this name. So what is the reference of the standard you have to understand? It is not SA, it is SIA, standards on internal audit. नंबर क्या है? और जो एक्सटर्नल ऑडिटर होता है उसका होता है SA 700 के अकॉर्डिंग. इस रिपोर्टिंग इज एज पर SA 700. तो एक्सटर्नल ऑडिटर करता है रिपोर्ट एज पर SA 700 which we are going to learn in our chapter called reporting, and internal auditor reports as per SIA 370. So this is what the major differences between whom and whom. तो आज हमने क्या स्टार्ट किया था शुरू में? We started with what? Threats. We started with the threats. What are the 5 types of threats we did? Self-interest threats. Achha, I will give you some situation. You tell me which kind of threat I am talking about. I'm having a financial interest with my client. I was a director with my client. My wife is working as an MD. I have a threat of losing a client. And next point, I referred someone. So तीनों का thin line of all the 5 का thin line of difference you understood, and safeguards also we understood, right? After that we did the 3 differences. What are the differences? Accounting, auditing, investigation, internal and external. Achha, what is the next thing we have to understand? The next thing which we have to understand is known as objective. Objective तो हो गया था. What is the next thing we have to understand? Advantages and inherent limitations of audit. Achha, I will give you some situation. You just tell me whether I am right or wrong. पहले अपन limitations की बात करते हैं कि ऑडिटिंग प्रोफेशन के क्या डिसएडवांटेजेस है. कोई बता सकता है मेरे को? जस्ट थिंक लॉजिकली एंड ट्राई टू टेल मी द डिसएडवांटेजेस ऑफ ऑडिटिंग. व्हाट आर द डिसएडवांटेजेस ऑफ ऑडिट? आई तो डोंट सी एनी काइंड ऑफ डिसएडवांटेज. हाँ, प्रेशर. ओके, प्रेशर. हाँ, अच्छा, मेंटल प्रेशर. मेरे को प्रेशर आया. चलो, प्रेशर. Okay, next. What else do you think that it is disadvantages in, मतलब what you don't like in audit? What you think that something should be improved in the audit? हाँ, मैं तो बोलता हूँ पैसे इंप्रूव होने चाहिए सबसे पहली बात. वो बहुत कम मिलते हैं अपने को. वो तो that is what I'm saying. It is always about opinion. That's why we never give what? Guarantee. So we know that कि some of the, देखो मैं तुम्हें एक छोटा सा वर्ड बताता हूँ. I think you all will agree with me if I'll write this word. ये वर्ड कभी सुनना है तुमने? ये वर्ड कहां पे सुना है? मेडिकल लाइन में सुना हमने. पोस्टमार्टम. क्या होता है पोस्टमार्टम? आफ्टर द डेथ ऑफ द पर्सन, इफ यू वांट टू नो द कॉज ऑफ द डेथ, तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं? बॉडी को प्लस शेप में ओपन करते हैं. हम लोग अंदर देखते हैं, ऑर्गन्स को देखते हैं कि विच ऑर्गन फेलियर वाज द कॉज ऑफ योर डेथ. तो उससे हम ऑटोप्सी बोलते हैं. ऑटोप्सी में रिपोर्ट आता है कि दिस इज द ब्रेन हेमरेज या हार्ट अटैक हुआ या क्या हुआ. इफ यू आर रियली इंटरेस्टेड इन नोइंग द कॉज ऑफ द डेथ. ऑडिटिंग इज पोस्टमार्टम एक्टिविटी ओनली. आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग द पॉइंट? हम लोग क्लाइंट की कंपनी में कब एंटर होते हैं? ड्यूरिंग द ईयर और आफ्टर द एंड ऑफ द ईयर? So can I say that for the 365 days client have planned and executed his frauds and errors very well? And when we are entering, when the damage is about to be done or damage is already done, मतलब क्लाइंट की डेथ ऑलरेडी हो चुकी है, हम लोग उसका ऑडिट करने जा रहे हैं, हम लोग उसका पोस्टमार्टम कर रहे हैं. आर यू गेटिंग? भाई डेथ कहां हुई है, कहां फ्रॉड हुआ है. तो ऑडिटिंग इज लाइक अ विच एक्टिविटी? पोस्टमार्टम. डू यू ऑल अग्री विद दैट? Okay, that is a disadvantage or advantage? Disadvantage. This is the biggest reason we can't detect and prevent or correct the frauds and errors. क्योंकि if the profession will allow us to go during the year, we can easily detect and prevent it. But that is possible or not possible? क्योंकि just now we have understood when what ends, what starts? Accounting ends. So this is, even if you were doing the audit 60 years back, or you are doing the audit today with me, or you people are going to do the audit after 3 years, this profession will remain same. So this is what something you can change in your profession or you can't change. That's why what is the heading I wrote? Limitations or inherent limitations. Inherent means what? Something which can be separated or cannot be. It's like a shadow of our profession which we can't change. Right or not? तो फर्स्ट पॉइंट क्या पता चला सर हमें? पोस्टमार्टम एक्टिविटी. अच्छा ये बताओ, कैन आई से दैट दिस इज ऑल्सो द सेकेंड डिसएडवांटेज ऑफ अवर ऑडिटिंग प्रोफेशन? विथ चेकिंग एवरीवन. हमारे पास अनलिमिटेड टाइम है, लिमिटेड टाइम है. वी डू द विथ चेकिंग. सैंपलिंग. तो सैंपलिंग में क्या होता है? 100 में से 10 to 12 items we are checking. Remaining 90 items checked or unchecked. So some of the frauds and errors will definitely remain undetected. Are you getting the point? So test checking is what? Is an advantage or disadvantage? But can you change it? No, you can't change it because profession does not allow us to do the routine checking. अब तुम सोच के देखो, Amazon में 1.3 billion transactions takes place on daily basis. Same is the case with the Reliance. अब इनवॉइसेस देखो, इफ यू विल डू एज एन ऑडिट आफ्टर 365 डेज, Amazon को बोलोगे सर हमारा सेल्स रजिस्टर लेके आओ, वो तुम्हें गोडाउन में लेके जाएगा. कहां पे लेके जाएगा? सर ये हमारा सेल्स गोडाउन है, मतलब इसमें इतने रजिस्टर्स है कि इसमें कर लो तुम्हारी आत्मा निकल के यहीं से ऑन द स्पॉट परमात्मा. भाई इतना इनवॉइस करूंगा ना मेरे बाल सफेद हो जाएंगे. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? तो वी कैन डू द फुल चेकिंग और वी कांट डू. So that is the inherent limitation of our profession. Crystal clear? Okay, third one. ये वाला पॉइंट जो मैंने तुम्हें अभी लिखवाया था, which evidence? क्या होता है persuasive evidence? Which is obtained by the auditor or provided by the client? और मेरे को ये बताओ, दुनिया में ऐसा कौन सा क्लाइंट है? Which client is there in present in this world who will say that I am lying? He will always give you the actual evidence or decorated one. He would like to make you see what he wants you to see. Am I correct or not? So it means our audit is mostly based upon which evidence? Persuasive. It means persuasive evidence means conclusive or non-conclusive. That is also the disadvantage of our profession. Are you understanding the disadvantage? And I hope I am able to justify this word also. What is this word? Inherent. So these things you can change or you can't change. अच्छा ये बताओ, is audit about guarantee or opinion? So can I say that no guarantee on future viability of company? No guarantee on what? Future viability. मतलब if, अच्छा, what is the financial year going on right now? अभी अपन किसका ऑडिट कर रहे हैं? राइट नाउ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स आर इन द, अभी मेरे ऑफिस में कौन से ईयर के ऑडिट चल रहे हैं? तो 21, 22 के ऑडिट चल रहे हैं राइट नाउ इन माय ऑफिस. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? अभी मैं अपने सारे क्लाइंट्स का 21, 22 का ऑडिट कर रहा हूं. सपोज मैंने 30th जून तक सारे ऑडिट्स फिनिश कर दिए एंड ऑल द ऑडिट रिपोर्ट्स आई हैव इशूड. राइट और नॉट? अब मैं बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चन पूछूंगा, ट्राई टू गिव मी द आंसर. 7th July, one of my client whose audit report I have issued and wrote that everything is true and fair got insolvent. मेरा fault? Did I give a guarantee or opinion? बट ही गॉट व्हाट, मतलब 30th जून को जो मैंने रिपोर्ट इशू करी, अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट रिपोर्ट माय क्लाइंट इज ट्रू एंड फेयर जेन्युइन, बट व्हाट हैपेंड ऑन द 7th जुलाई, ही बिकेम व्हाट, एवरीवन विल स्टार्ट कमिंग टू मी, अरे रोहित तुमने तो बोला था क्लाइंट जेन्युइन है, ये है वो है, तो मैं उनको क्या बोलूंगा, सर मैंने क्या दिया, ओपिनियन, मैंने क्या नहीं दिया, आई नेवर गेव अ गारंटी, आई गेव ओनली एन, so you can't catch my collar. So my question is this an advantage to audit? Auditor के point of view से, it is an advantage कि I can escape from getting beaten up by those people. वो मेरे को लेके आए, हथौड़ा मारने आए, वो बेसबॉल का डंडा लेके, मैंने कहा बोलो रुको सर, सबर करो, अच्छा मैंने कहा सबर करो भाई, देखो तुम क्या दे रहा हूं मैं तुम्हें, ओपिनियन दे रहा हूं मैं, थोड़ा तुम्हें बोल रहा हूं कि गारंटी, मैं बोला ट्रू एंड करेक्ट, मैंने क्या वर्ड यूज करे, ट्रू एंड फेयर, तो ये मेरे लिए तो एडवांटेज है, बट फिर हम इनहेरेंट लिमिटेशन में क्यों लिख रहे हैं इसे, अब यहां पे आके क्वेश्चन मार्क, इट इज डिसएडवांटेज फ्रॉम द इन्वेस्टर्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, हुज पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, तुम्हारा कुछ नहीं गया भाई, तुम्हारे को तो यू गॉट योर ऑडिट फीस ऑल्सो, यू गॉट योर एवरीथिंग, तुम्हारी पॉकेट में तुम्हारा पैसा है, तुम सुख शांति से बैठे हो, बट हु इज गेटिंग बबल्ड अप ऑन द 7th of July when the declaration came that the client got what, insolvent, सारे के सारे lenders, creditors, union members, employees, everyone is on the road or not, because the client got what, if the profession will allow us to give a guarantee, then in that case what will happen, in that case these kind of situations will be avoided or not, but circumstances are such that कि we can give or cannot give. अब ये लास्ट पॉइंट को फर्स्ट 3 पॉइंट से कनेक्ट करके देखो, व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट पॉइंट, प्रॉब्लम नंबर 1, वी एंटर्ड द क्लाइंट्स प्लेस व्हेन एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर, वी डिड अ विच, पोस्टमार्टम, व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम नंबर 2, we can't do the full checking, we have to do the which checking, test checking, I can't avoid it. Problem number 3, 90% of my audit is based upon the evidence which is collected by me or provided by the client. I can avoid or I can't avoid. Violence, violence. I hate violence. We avoid. But violence, समझ में आ रहा है? This is what our auditing profession. And last but not the least, we are unable to give what? Guarantee on the future viability of a company. Crystal clear? So these are our what? Inherent limitation. So now let us understand. चलो limitation तो बहुत हो गए, but we always believe in positive things. What are the positive things? अपन एडवांटेज के ऊपर ज्यादा कॉन्सेंट्रेट करेंगे. What is my advantage number 1? जल्दी बताओ. मैं तुमसे पूछता हूं, you say yes or no. Is audit going to increase the level of confidence and reliability and credibility of my financial statements? Yes. Does it increase or decrease? Yes. So it enhances what? It enhances trust, it enhances confidence, and it enhances what? Credibility. What are the 3 words I used? Trust, confidence of financial statements. People will believe the financial statements when it is unaudited or audited. Audit. तो ये मेरा एडवांटेज है ऑडिट का. तो इट एनहांसेस द ट्रस्ट, कॉन्फिडेंस एंड क्रेडिबिलिटी ऑफ फाइनेंशियल. अच्छा ये बताओ, ये यू विल अग्री, अर्ली डिटेक्शन ऑफ व्हाट, फ्रॉड्स एंड एरर्स. डू यू ऑल अग्री विद दिस वन ऑल्सो? कैसे? अब तो मुझे बताओ, ऑडिट टेक्स प्लेस वंस इन 7 years और एवरी ईयर? ये जो स्कैम एंड स्कैंडल्स होते हैं, हम लोग जब न्यूज में देखते हैं कि 80,000 करोड़ का स्कैम हो गया, अभी माल्या स्कैम हुआ था 12,000 करोड़, नीरव मोदी 9,000 करोड़, तुम्हें क्या लगता है ये ओवरनाइट दे प्लान्ड एंड टुक द मनी फ्रॉम द बैंक एंड वेंट अवे, और इट वाज अ प्लानिंग ऑफ 3-4 years? सत्यम स्कैम में व्हेन द बबल वाज बर्स्ट, द केम टू नो दैट कि फ्रॉम 2000 to 2008 the business was completely shut down, but the scam came into the picture of the public when 2008. It means for the 8 years the public was not even aware of the fact that ki Satyam was doing a business or no business. So it means for the 8 years the Ramalinga Raju was able to put a curtain in the eyes of the people ki Satyam is a very reputed company and very profitable venture. But ultimately 2008 mein when he was unable to hold that curtain lifting off carpet, and who got surrendered? Ramalinga Raju, and Satyam became the most Satyam company. आइए सबसे बड़ा कॉर्पोरेट स्कैंडल आया, तो तुम्हें क्या लगता है इट वाज अ ओवरनाइट स्कैम? ऑडिटिंग हेल्प्स यू इन अर्ली डिटेक्शन ऑफ फ्रॉड्स एंड एरर्स. अभी मैं तुम्हें एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूं. ये मेरी कैशियर है जो सो रही है, ये मेरी कैशियर है. तो ये मेरी कैशियर है, तो एवरी डे शी इज हैंडलिंग लैक्स एंड लैक्स ऑफ कैश. यू नो व्हाट शी इज डूइंग? शी ब्रिंग्स बिग बैग. ऐसा मतलब ऑफिस में बैग लेके आती है. मेरे ऑफिस में एक कॉफी वेंडिंग मशीन भी है, और वहां से कॉफी भी गायब हो रही है, वहां पे मग्स भी गायब हो रहे हैं, शुगर के सैशे भी गायब हो रहे हैं, और मेरे को लग रहा है एक दिन मशीन भी गायब हो जाएगी. तो ये इतना बड़ा बैग लेके आती है ऐसा करके, तो यहां पे ऐसा टांगती है. अब बीइंग अ गर्ल इसे कोई चेक नहीं करता, ठीक है ना. तो मग्स भी गायब हो रहे हैं, कॉफी भी गायब हो रही है, और पता क्या कर रही है, मतलब ये मेरा एवरी डे शी इज हैंडलिंग 40-50 lakhs ऑफ कैश. तो उन्होंने कहा 2000 का नोट निकालती है ऐसे. और तुम्हें पता नहीं है गर्ल्स का जो बैग होता है ना, इट्स अ वर्ल्ड इन इटसेल्फ. ये अपने आप में ओशन है. मतलब तुम उसके अंदर घुस जाओगे ना, तुम्हें 15 दिन लगेंगे बाहर आने में. इतना कुछ होता है उसमें भाई. तुम बिलीव, मेरे से पूछो, मैं मैरिड हूं, मेरी वाइफ का बैग में भाई एक दिन मतलब इतना घटिया वाला मजाक हुआ ना मेरे साथ. मेरी वाइफ का मोबाइल गुम गया. अनफॉर्चुनेटली शी पुट इट ऑन व्हाट, साइलेंट. वो कहां जाके मिला? ओशन में. कौन सा ओशन? बैग में. भाई तुम बिलीव नहीं करोगे, कार देख ली, बाइक देख ली, नेबर्स देख लिए पूरे, सबको टेस्टिंग चेकिंग सब कर लिया, पूरा घर इधर से उधर कर दिया. भाई आईफोन 13 प्रो मैक्स था, तो मतलब थोड़ा होता है ना सर, ठीक है ना. मेरे को 10-15 दिन काम करना पड़ेगा उसके लिए, मेरे को खरीदने के लिए. तो मेरे को लगा, मैंने कहा 10 दिन की मेहनत गई भाई. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? मैंने कहा ले, फड्डे में चले गए पैसे. तो अल्टीमेटली कहां मिला? मैंने कहा एक काम कर, पहले तो उसे 15 मिनट लगे बैग खाली होने में. ऐसे इतना बड़ा पहाड़, और वहां से एक छोटा सा फोन दिख रहा होगा. तो ये नो क्या करती थी, शी ऑल्सो यूज टू डू द सेम थिंग. 2000 की पत्ती निकालती, ऐसा फोल्ड करती, कोने में डालती. अब मेरे को मालूम है कि शी इज डूइंग अ फ्रॉड ऑफ व्हाट, 2000, बट आई एम अवॉइडिंग इट. आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? द रीजन बीइंग वेरी सिंपल. चलो ठीक है यार, 1-2 हजार से क्या फर्क पड़ता है बोल के, बट आफ्टर अवॉइडिंग इट, एम आई गिविंग अ इनडायरेक्ट शेल्टर टू हर टू डू द फ्रॉड ऑफ बिगर स्केल इन फ्यूचर? मतलब in the future she will not think twice before taking 5 notes of 2000 then she will take 10 notes of 2000 then, because she knows that I'm getting what, ignored. Are you getting the point? So remember one thing, auditing is all about putting the full stop at the early stage only. That is why what is the second advantage? Early detection of what? Frauds and error. Achha, tell me one thing, how many of you believe that auditing also works as an eye over moral duties of employees? Do you agree that? अच्छा, एम्प्लॉय क्या सोचता है, अरे यार मॉन्स्टर इज गोइंग टू कम एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर. हु इज दैट? ऑडिटर. इफ ही विल कैच माई फ्रॉड एंड एरर, he will report it to top level management and my job will be safe or secured or will be completely unsafe. So it means auditing indirectly keeps an eye over what? Moral duties of the staff. This is also one of the advantage. Advantage number 4, it attracts what? It attracts more loans and advances and it attracts more and more what? Investment. अब ये बताओ, अगर मैं ट्रू एंड फेयर की ऑडिट रिपोर्ट लेके बैंक को जाता हूं, तो बैंक विल बी इंटरेस्टेड इन गिविंग द लोन और डिसइंटरेस्टेड, क्योंकि उसको किसके सिग्नेचर के ऊपर भरोसा है. तो आर यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? तो बैंक, आई एम एबल टू अट्रैक्ट मोर लोन्स एंड एडवांसेस of by showing the unaudited FS or audited FS. So can I say that it is right to say that it attracts more loans and advances and it attracts what? Investment. Investors today also believe in unaudited or audited. And fifth one, it helps in settlement of disputes. What does it help in? Sir, what do you mean by settlement of disputes? जैसे मैं तुम्हें एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल बताता हूं. Say for example, I am going to enter into one partnership firm. I am the incoming partner. They are asking me, Rohit, you have to bring the 50 lakh rupees of share as a capital, asset and goodwill. तीनों चीजें मिला के कितना पूछा? अब 50 lakhs is a huge amount. So I would like to know that कि whether 50 lakhs is a genuine amount I am paying or ingenuine amount. तो मैंने क्या किया? चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट को हायर किया. तो I hired a chartered accountant and told him, can you please do the investigation of that firm where I am going to enter as a which partner? Incoming partner, and please let me know, is this firm worthy enough to bring how much lakhs from me? 50 lakhs. So auditing also helps in settlement of what? Disputes. Relating to what? Goodwill. Relating to what? Partnership firms. अच्छा, partnership firm में सबसे ज्यादा dispute कब होते हैं? Whenever any death of the partner takes place, whenever any admission of the partner takes place, or whenever any retirement. तो इन सब का solution क्या है? Audit. Audit करवाओ, no one will open their mouth because everyone believes whose signature? Audit. So did you understand the advantages or not? Tell me the 5 advantages. Trust, confidence, credibility, early detection of what? Frauds and error. Eye over the moral duties of the employee, attracts loans and advances and settlement of what? Dispute. Acha, nowadays audit is also helping in settling of इंश्योरेंस क्लेम्स. सेटलिंग ऑफ विच क्लेम्स? तो मालूम है इंश्योरेंस क्लेम कब देती है? व्हेन द कंपनी गिव्स यू द क्लेम, व्हेन दे गेट सेटिस्फाइड दैट की लॉस विच यू आर बुकिंग इज जेन्युइन और नॉट. सपोज ये कंपनी है, इसके कंपनी के गोडाउन में 50 करोड़ का स्टॉक था, तो शी फाइल्ड अ कंप्लेंट, शी फाइल्ड अ क्लेम विद द जनरल इंश्योरेंस इंडिया कंपनी कि मेरा स्टॉक बर्न हो गया एंड आई सफर्ड अ लॉस ऑफ व्हाट? 50 crore. But general insurance company will not give you the 50 crore just like that, just because you are claiming it. General insurance company एक chartered accountant की टीम भेजेगी in their what? Godown. तो I will first analyze कि which stock got burned. Was it a low value stock or high value stock? How much stock? अच्छा ये बताओ, she is saying that 50 crores of stock. अभी इसे logically देखना, मैं तुम्हें एक example बताता हूँ. She is saying that 50 crores of loss she occurred. How many lakhs? वो क्लेम कर रही है कि मेरे 80,000 bags of rice, how many thousands of bags of rice burn हो गए due to the fire in the godown. अब सुनना ध्यान से, इसे बोलते हैं रीजनेबलनेस टेस्ट. व्हाट इज द टेस्ट आई एम गोइंग टू टेल यू? वो गोडाउन का स्पेस ये रूम जितना था. द गोडाउन स्पेस वॉज दिस मच ऑफ रूम. अब तुम मुझे बताओ 80,000 बैग्स ये रूम में आएंगे? तो इट मीन शी इज टेलिंग अ ट्रुथ और शी इज टेलिंग अ लाई. इंश्योरेंस विल बी रिजेक्टेड. अब यहां पे किसका इन्वेस्टिगेशन हेल्प्ड? चार्टर्ड अकाउंट. ऑडिटिंग का इन्वेस्टिगेशन हेल्प्ड. स्केप्टिकल माइंड. डिड आई टेल यू प्रोफेशनल स्केप्टिसिज्म और नॉट? तो मैंने कहा चलो ठीक है, इन्वेस्टिगेट करते हैं, चलो लेट्स टेक टू योर गोडाउन. इन्होंने बोले सर ये देखो पूरा गोडाउन जल गया. ये मेरे को क्या थे, ये देखो ब्लैक ब्लैक हो गया पूरा ये जल. मैंने कहा अम्मा ये बताओ इतना कितना स्क्वायर यार्ड है? उन्होंने बोले कि सर ये होगा कुछ 1250 एसएफटी होगा, 1250 और 1500 एसएफटी. मैंने कहा अम्मा 1500 और 1800 एसएफटी कैन ओनली एंड ओनली स्टोर 2 to 3,000 बैग्स. कितना 1000 बैग्स? तुम कितना क्लेम कर रहे हो? 80,000 बैग्स यूर क्लेमिंग. इसका मतलब ऑलमोस्ट नहीं तो 40 टाइम्स ऑफ दिस प्लेस यू नीड टू स्टोर हाउ मेनी बैग्स? तो मैंने वो रिपोर्ट किसको दिया? इंश्योरेंस कंपनी. इंश्योरेंस कंपनी ने क्या कर दिया? कैंसिल. तो डिड यू अंडरस्टैंड द एडवांटेजेस ऑफ ऑडिट? तो दीज आर द वेरियस एडवांटेजेस एंड दीज आर द वेरियस व्हाट? इनहेरेंट लिमिटेशंस ऑफ एन ऑडिट. क्रिस्टल क्लियर? तो आज हमने क्या क्या पढ़ा सर? थ्रेट्स पढ़े, सेफगार्ड टू थ्रेट्स पढ़े, auditing and accounting, auditing and investigation, internal audit and external audit, and we understood what? Inherent limitations and what? Advantages. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for lending your patient ears again. I'll borrow it again tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be starting with a topic called aspects to be covered in audit. After that, basic principles governing an audit. After this, our essay 200 will be over. अभी तक अपना क्या चल रहा है? essay 200 अभी ओवर नहीं हुआ. It's been 3 days we are doing what? essay 200 only. तो अभी 200 चल रहा है. 2 more topics are there. After that, we will do essay 220, then we'll do 210. Finally, our chapter will be over. Did you get the point? So another 3 days classes are required to make sure that we can wind up this chapter in a proper manner. Right, everyone? Thank you so much. See you guys in the next session. Bye, everyone. Take care. Bye. सर नोट्स मिल जाएंगे मेरे को 1-2 दिन दो सर. आई एम कंपाइलिंग दिस नोट्स बिकॉज सम फाइल्स आर इन वन लिंक, सम फाइल्स आर इन अनदर लिंक. So I have to just do the shuffling of the links and accordingly I'll give you the notes. Okay? Don't worry about the notes. You will get it. अबे चल भाई.